We're recording. Pick up the mics.
Does it hurt your uterus?
Roderick, you take them.
I took Tylenol and ibuprofen scheduled for 2 weeks straight.
After you had a baby?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like I thought Tia was impressive, but like Andrea is so much more crazy.
Tell me, educate me. Who's Andrea, and why are we impressed?
She
by
was
her?
on Team Mayhem for a while, and that's not her only accolades. She's an incredible athlete, even before that as an individual. But she had a baby and then competed in quarterfinals and made semifinals. And I think she had her baby like March 17th or something.
Wow.
So I don't know.
I think
you
she
tell
did
me
the,
more.
I think she did the last workout. Either she had just had the baby or she still did it pregnant, that gymnastics one.
Yeah.
I think she had the baby by that point.
Holy
But she
cow.
trained through her whole pregnancy. What's interesting? When I was studying for my level 3, there's one of the papers talks about how it's really hard to get any real like study done because it's like cruel and unusual or something. I don't know like the terms they use, but they can't have pregnant ladies try things because it puts the baby at risk. So the only things we know is moms who have decided to like work out through pregnancy and see how it goes. It was just interesting to think about, like, oh yeah, you can't just have 100 people who are pregnant try different things because they could put the baby at risk. So
Well, because it has to go through like a whole ethics board.
Well,
and stuff,
that's
right?
why that's why they pretty much say that you can't take any medication when you're pregnant because they've never tested any in like human pregnant women.
wow,
It's all like done on rats and like animals and stuff. So
crazy. So it's super impressive, and the crazy.
I mean,
what-
it's
yeah.
it's okay. Like what she had a baby. Who?
I'm in shock about
Yeah.
it because I'm like, how did she? And then she said she was put together enough for quarterfinals, but
Yeah.
like still made semifinals. Like, what?
super crazy.
That's a testament, though, to like how little fitness you actually lose if you just do maintenance level stuff.
And they asked, Brian asked her, like, are you going to compete? Are we going to see you, compete? And she was
Yeah.
like, probably not. Who's going to watch my daughter?
Aw,
That's funny.
that's sick. Yeah, that's cute. Funny. Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, I feel like that's been a big buzz, and nobody really talked about it for a while. I just remember seeing she posted, she's like on 5 hours of sleep, but still doing like fitness or something, and I like put the things together and I DM'd her. I'm like, wow, 60 seconds later you make semifinals. Like, holy crap, that's ridiculous. And then it started blowing up everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, people were roasting her, too. She
Why?
got, like, hardcore roasted.
For what?
Because
Like, she was actually told by her friends not to read the comments on, like, Morning Chalk Ups
What were they roasting her for, though?
because of, like, competing. Like,
safety, health concerns.
my God,
But it's
look
like
at
that's not.
Oh,
It's not them.
my
That looks so good.
goodness. That show the camera that latte.
Super good.
That's ridiculous.
This is nuts.
What did you get? The Oreo one or the Nutella? What did I
I
get?
got Oreo.
You got Oreo. I got Nutella.
It's
I'm an
really good.
Oreo
I need to
girl.
try a sip of that. We should probably explain where we're at because of these lattes just popping out of thin air.
We're at Chuck E. Cheese.
We're at the Paper Street Coffee Cafe. Give Gabe that mic real quick.
It's so good.
I'm happy. I'm glad you like it. That's the drink of the month.
You're gonna be busy putting that down.
So good.
That's what she said.
And the little bits of Oreo. Ooh.
I don't know what I expected, but not this. This is very good.
What do you mean? Come on, Paper Street Coffee.
Well, since
Right.
we're
Let
since
me
we're
let me
here-
get a sip of that.
Since we're here at Paper Street, you were recently you were in Chicago for
Chi-Town.
essentially the NAM show, but for coffee.
Yes, SEA, Specialty Coffee Association Expo. It was very eye-opening. It was so cool. Learned so
what
much
was
about
so
coffee.
cool about it?
Just being able to meet some awesome growers, some awesome importers, people in the space, and how helpful everyone is, and how how big the space is. I started like not knowing anything, and now like there's a whole new world for me to explore this year, and for us to kind of like bring more people into the light.
What was the most interesting thing that you found out about coffee before you knew anything about coffee?
I think the coolest thing about 1 second. There you go.
The police are here.
The cops.
Let's hear what they're
Cops.
fueled by.
We're in the coffee
Extra-
shop during
extra
live
shots.
hours.
Yeah. Extra live. What did I learn at the coffee shop, the coffee expo? Honestly, just how passionate individuals can be about such a product. I tasted a coffee from Switzerland that was phenomenal. Like, I spent a lot of money getting this coffee. It was really, really good. It was like phenomenal.
Oh, so now you're gonna get it?
It's like the roaster, right? So the roaster's like an artist. So it's like multifaceted. I think it's there's a lot that goes into it. So even if I had the same coffee, I wouldn't be able to roast it the same way. But it's funny because when we were talking about Andrea, like, she was a Paper Street Coffee athlete last year too. She was
With
on
Team
the
Proven.
Team Proven, yeah. We sponsored the team. So
Fueled by
that's-
Frost.
Fueled by Frost. That's why the baby came out so potent.
So what you said?
Potent.
She just shotgunned a Frost during birth, make it come out.
No. I don't recommend women that are pregnant to have any caffeine.
Dude, you've made a lot of movement just this past year. You opened 2 different shops now.
One is
Kind of.
open. We're here open right now, and
Yeah.
then we actually partnered with Proven thanks to Nick Johnston. He reached out to us in November about opening up a coffee shop in Tennessee. So we're doing that.
How stressful is it having this shop and then trying to get that place opened up too? Across the country.
Bro.
You can't answer this honestly.
It is
Don't say what's on your mind right now.
Oh. It's extremely stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to go into the details. Just
No, I
scale
mean,
from
we
1 to
can-
10 how
We
how
can
it
go into
covers
the
it.
details, but like I use a lot of
Watch your profanity.
yes, I use a lot of adjectives that not that many people like, and have to respect the law.
What is the hardest part of doing something like you, because you're not in Nashville, so what's the hardest thing logistically?
I think with just the business, how everything is now, is finding the right people and trusting the right people to help you grow the business, whether it's like a brick and mortar or whether it's the online business. Like, that's the hardest part, finding people that you trust. I'm the type of person, and I hate saying this in front of the camera, that I meet you and I automatically assume the best of you.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of the population lets you down, but a big segment of the population actually does live up to that. Like you guys here, like even Roderick, right? He helps us with our media, and you guys have been with us for, since Rogue. And it's like I'm like, yeah, come set up, like do a podcast from the booth, or yeah, Roderick, let's do Instagram and stuff.
Let's
like
do handstand walks at Paper Street Coffee.
yeah, and it's like I
I
trust
finally saw it.
them. And,
You what?
and I trust them, and it's one of those things where it takes a lot to find the right people that are willing and capable to help you grow, and that's been the toughest part. I got lucky with Roderick. I got lucky with Paulina. You guys will hopefully maybe eventually
Don't let him down.
meet Shane. Shane from she's our GM over at Nashville. She's
Super
also
cool.
really cool
Super
individual.
cool.
Oh yeah, you guys met her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met her. She's cool.
Shane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, she fits right in.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
What's crazy about you saying that is I remember telling you, like, hey, let me run your social. And you were like, yeah, here's the login. I'm like, how's this guy trust me? Holy crap. And then we took it a step further. I had done the social. And I was like, hey, I really would like to see the metrics from Shopify. Can you send me the login? You're like, yeah, here's the login. I'm like, dude, just give me access to everything. And I don't know how many conversations we had, but it takes a special person, I feel like, to trust somebody to do that, because I have very few people in my life that I'm like, yeah, I would trust you to log into my accounts or look at my like business with money involved, etc. So it's crazy. I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, I know that you can trust me, but it's like, how do you know you can trust me?
was my
Yeah.
That's like
Dude,
crazy.
I don't trust anybody. So when you say that, I'm like, you're a better man than I for sure, because I don't like Roderick is the only person
I
I've
was gonna
ever
say, I
let.
do have your logins for YouTube.
Yeah, he's the only person that I've ever shared any sort of stuff like that with. Not even like, well, I'm not gonna get into that, but Yeah, he's the only person. So when you say that, I'm like, why? Like, what is it about him specifically?
Have you seen him without a shirt on?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That nutrition is helping you out, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I don't really. It's like a vibe. It's one of those things where, again, I do trust him, and it's one of those things when I met him, we were both at like this really crazy point in our careers where
A lot of debt for me.
where I mean, I guess game recognized game, right?
Mhm.
I saw that he was sacrificing a lot, and he was almost. I saw myself in him, and maybe he saw himself in me.
Too much of a challenge
Pause.
to hear that. Yeah.
Pause.
It's like, oh, I can't.
But
It's like the scene in School of Rock when he's like, "I've touched your kid." And I'm sure they touched it too. And all the parents are like, "Oh my god." That's such a School of Rock's a great movie.
but
Sorry.
I think that's what it is. It's like, okay, I saw someone. I saw the same fire and the same hustle that I have, and I've told everyone that we like work with. Hey, my goal is. I'm a reflection of everyone around me, right? So if I see you working hard, it's my job to work a little bit harder, because then that way it fuels the next person next to me, and then it's just like kind of this symbiotic relationship where, fuck, man, if we're all working really hard for this like almost unobtainable goal, we're all gonna just push ourselves there. And it's been working, and we've had a lot of growing pains, and we've had a lot of stress. But it's been amazing, especially this whole journey, meeting new people, meeting more, like literally meeting so many new people on a daily basis is so dope. Yeah, man, it's just, yeah.
What's the ultimate goal? I know that's a hard question, or like a hard question to answer, because, and I think I talked to you about this with your social, but when the first podcast that we did, it's like, for me, I don't know what exactly it is. There's just like a yearning, like in my stomach almost. You know, you just like feel that you need to fulfill this thing. You don't really know what it is. For you, what exactly is that?
I mean, it's always been the same constant. It's always been get to a point where I can help out as many people, and I think that's where we're going now. It's like we're at a point where we can help out so many awesome individuals, and I don't mean in a way of, I don't know. A lot of people, when they partner with people or when they say, "Oh, I want to help someone," it's a lot of, they kind of like exploit people and like use them and abuse them. And for me, it's like, no, I genuinely just want to help individuals, and then in turn, I hope that they reciprocate the emotion, or they reciprocate the sentiment. You know, one of our other relationships that first really launched Paper Street Coffee was a relationship that we had with Sevon, and that's a relationship that has helped us. You know, even this past weekend with Roderick knows how great that like quarterfinal show was. That quarterfinal weekend for us, it was
It was huge.
Huge.
And just, it was something that we came up with. Like, we talked about it briefly, but we came up the day before the offer went live.
I feel like a lot of the ideas that we have, we kind of are, hey, this would be a cool idea. Okay, send it. Let's see what happens. And we've been really lucky that a lot of them have gone well.
And the people,
Super lucky.
the community, like the people that like trust us, the people that like buy our product, like the goal is just work really, really hard, come out with an awesome product, and then people will just gravitate around that. And I think that's like, I saw something, right? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, don't worry about the product. The product isn't like, it's the marketing around it and stuff like that. And I'm like, well,
I feel like it's the people more than anything. And I feel like we give, not we, you, Paper Street Coffee, the people around focus on the people. Like, we care about the people. They come to the booth, we chat with them, we have a good talk. Like, we genuinely care, and we have a good time. I feel like that's important. They could see if we weren't, like, if we were just doing this for money, it's, oh, just for money. They'd be like, all right, it's not genuine, it doesn't feel good. But everybody around us, it's like, it feels good. We all do want to get better. We all want to improve. You guys want to get better at podcasting. I want to get better at social. You want to make better coffee, help more people. P-Dog wants to learn as much as possible, be a better athlete. Colton wants to be the best athlete possible. And he wants to be the best shit talker in CrossFit, which everyone is for.
He's doing.
Savon wants to be the best podcast, etc. So
And even like Pedro, I remember Pedro,
his name is Peter.
Peter White from Coffee Wads and Pods. He sent me a
Coffee
message.
Pods and Wads.
Coffee.
I haven't slept for over 24 hours. You can't even get his name.
He like messaged me and he said congrats, and I'm just like, dude, I see your hard work and everything that he puts into his show, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? Just kind of just drag my feet and like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing pretty good. No, man, I want to, like, as much as you're seeing what we have done and you're like, hey, man, congratulations. I feel the same exact way about you guys,
Yeah.
about Roderick. Every time, like, I see a video and I literally laugh out loud and people are like, why are you laughing? I'm like, dude, this meme is hilarious. And yeah, and I mean it's cool, and I like the values that we have. It's funny, like we have our meetings now, but we never talk about like we all have this understood values, and we all share those values of trying to elevate each other, and it's like sharpening the axe and making us better at whatever we want to do. And I think just surrounding ourselves with like those cool, awesome people. Hey, I've made mistakes. I've hired wrong people. Like,
Yeah.
we all know that. Like, and it sucks to let them go because I always want to make sure that I give everyone the opportunity. Like, I have extreme ownership, so if someone does something wrong, like, it's a mistake. Like that issue we had today in the restroom, like, that's a mistake on my part. Like, I thought I was.
There was nothing weird, okay? A mistake that we had.
The mistake we had.
There wasn't a trash bag in the trash can. That's it.
And you can take that however you want to.
Oh, my God.
But that's important because one of the, like, when I interview someone and before I hired them, I took them. This is gonna sound weird. I took them to the bathroom first because I said, hey, this bathroom is gonna reflect is a reflection of who we are, and if we forgot to put a trash can in the bathroom, they forgot something else out here. Like,
Tell me your
something else.
former CrossFit affiliate owner without
Yeah.
telling me you're a former CrossFit affiliate owner.
Yeah. It's a Greg Glassman kind of ideology of like the first thing you do when you walk into a box is you go to the bathroom, and the way that they have the bathroom teaches you everything you need to know about how that affiliate is run. So
That's facts, actually, because our gym, when I had my business partners, was so poorly ran, and the bathroom was a disaster, an absolute disaster. And then when I was on it by myself, it wasn't a disaster, at least not the majority of the time, which is crazy. We're correlating bathrooms to proper business. That's great.
I don't know. My bathroom at Rolla Athletic was okay. One time there was poop on the floor. I have no idea how it got there. It wasn't mine, but I just didn't understand how the heck it got there.
That's
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
fun fact. I just had a conversation with one of the athletes that I had there. I don't know where it came from, but I still meet with a few of my Actually, I'm down to 2 athletes. They've been slowly falling off while I focus more on social. And I don't know what we were talking about, but he was like, hey, remember when there was poop on the ground? I was like, yeah. He's like, did you ever figure out who that was? I was like, dude, I have no idea. I don't know how it got on the ground. And it wasn't like a huge, big turd. It was like just like a little piece. And someone went in the bathroom like, what is that? And they kicked it, and it was like smeared.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
So gross.
That's disgusting. Sorry about that, everyone.
That's foul. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
awesome.
Owning a gym. I actually made a meme about this, and so many people related to like, hey, I pretty much was like, oh, hey, I'm going to have a gym. It's going to be sick. I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to be rich. And then the next clip was me. Like, I just look beat down. It's like, I've been up for, like the last 40 hours. If you need to cancel your membership, it's a 30-day notice. Also, can you please, if you poop on the toilet seat, can you wipe it? Like, people literally must sit down, like lean forward, like, and then they just get up and don't look down. They just shotgun
they
the
just
toilet.
hover.
Yeah, so if you get anything from this podcast, look at the toilet seat after you go to the restroom at your local affiliate. If it's dirty, wipe it.
Wipe it off.
Your affiliate owner will thank you so much.
And subscribe. We'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Did you thanks for coming out, to be honest with you.
Thanks for having us.
We're in New Jersey. We have Rollo's from San Diego. Justin, you're originally from San Diego?
Actually, yeah.
And Heather's from where?
Interestingly enough.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. No accent at all.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but she had no accent.
I was told that I have no accent
By who?
by a group of people.
A group of liars.
Yeah, who did
They sit
tell
on
you
throne
that?
of lies.
It was the when we were at the open announcement in Nashville at Proven, it was the
group of other
meal
people-
proof. Meal proof.
Meal proof.
In a
Poop
meal
is really
proof
out of mind.
Meal, There's so much poop talk.
Is this Savant's podcast or?
The meal prep company that was there that made that
Ooh,
really
super
good
good.
food.
Yeah.
It's very good.
They told me I had no accent.
That's funny.
So
Hey Heather,
It's-
you have a really cool skateboard. Sorry, I just
I-
want to bring it to light.
I do. I wish I could show it in the video.
Do you
but-
have it?
Well,
You
not
have it with you?
we brought 'em
physically
here.
It's,
Oh, gotcha.
It's at our
Or the Airbnb.
But
We were talking about this earlier, how you guys both have kids, but you guys still play and like go skateboard with your kids, go to the skate park.
I literally
Yeah.
got the skateboard so that I wasn't the only one who wasn't skateboarding
Yeah.
in the family. But it's also really fun.
How does it feel
learn.
to learn skateboarding at 30 plus years old?
I mean, like, obviously, I'm a lot more cautious and like worried about falling.
She
and
has a
stuff.
helmet.
Yeah, I have a helmet.
Helmets are cool.
Yeah.
Your brain's
But
cool.
I'm like frustrated because I want to like every time we go to like the skate park or like go skateboarding or whatever, I just want to learn how to turn around. Like that's my biggest goal right now.
Okay.
Is like, you know, if I'm going down, like if I'm riding, then I want to be able to just turn around without getting off of the skateboard.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm getting like, God damn it, I just want to like learn how to do that. It'd be so much better.
So much fun.
So it's like,
Skateboarding-
I gotta learn it.
Skateboarding takes like actual. I'm not saying anything mean about you, but it takes like real athleticism, not like weightlifting athleticism where you can like move a barbell. You know, the type where you're like agile and stuff. And she's not like super like if you put her on a cone drill or something like that, she's not like crushing a footwork drill. You know what I mean? But you can see like as
35 years old.
I know, but I'm saying as the days are going
Right.
on, the more she's
Prime
like
years.
skateboarding, you can see it like improving slowly. So it's really cool to see from an outsider that at 35 you're learning something new and it's becoming like habit.
And
can't-
there's that one lady on Instagram. Didn't you show me that? She's like in her 40s. She started when she was like 41 or something, and now she's like mid to upper 40s, and she can like, what is it called? Rock the fakie. or
Rock the
whatever?
fakie? No, I didn't
When
show
you like
that.
turn around on the half pipe thing.
Dang.
Bowl.
Hey,
You.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what it's called.
there's rock and roll, rock the fakie, and
Yeah,
there's
like
a whole
she
bunch of
can
stuff.
go like up it and then come back down it. And she said she's like that was her biggest goal in her like to learn. And
Yeah, that's
she-
cool.
She did that starting in her 40s.
Yeah.
We'll see his athleticism once he starts jujitsu.
Well, I have a history with jujitsu.
We'll see.
I used to snowboard, so
Yeah.
I feel like I snowboarded like my whole childhood.
Yeah,
So I know it's a lot different, obviously, but it's like
it helps.
I think it's just more comfort, like for me, getting more comfortable because I'm old and I don't want to break something or fall.
Yeah, working,
Yeah.
having kids, doing all that's probably hard with a broken wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did jujitsu already before?
Yeah, for a little while. I did Muay Thai for like 6 years. And then I did jiu-jitsu here and there in between.
Gotcha.
I wanted to fight MMA for a long time
How come you didn't?
because I got tired of getting hit in the head.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
miserable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not fun getting your head knocked a bunch of times in sparring practice and stuff. And finally I was like, dude, forget this. By the time I get good enough to actually fight, I already have like 10, 20 concussions. I'm good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
When did you start jiu-jitsu?
Not last October, the October before.
And you do it too? Why did you guys get started? Like, I guess not so late in life, but like, how did that start?
I saw this meme the other day. I look at a lot of memes. I'm on the internet a lot, and it was like when dudes should go to therapy, they join jujitsu instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I turned 30, and I was like, I think I should start jujitsu, or I was like 29 and a half or something. Yeah, for my mental well-being. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just need do something new.
Yeah.
CrossFit is, I love CrossFit, love doing CrossFit, but I wanted to do just something else, be a beginner, a total beginner at something that I was super uncomfortable doing, something that was hard. It was like nerve-wracking to go step into the gym, and I don't remember feeling that for anything else. So I think it was cool to go through that experience again, because I know there's so many people who walk through the gym doors at CrossFit that are super scared, nervous, never touched a barbell, never done any of these exercises. And I had that same feeling going to jiu-jitsu, so it helped me empathize with, more people, more athletes. And I feel like there's so many similarities between 2012 CrossFit and jiu-jitsu like nowadays?
Explain. I guess I don't know what
Like
2012
you-
CrossFit was like.
Oh man, kind of like more grungy, right? It's like not. It wasn't as the gyms weren't so professional and clean, and it was got some rubber mats on the ground. We got the chalk everywhere. Just like Rogue was already a thing, but no gym had Rogue barbells. It was just beater barbells, anything you could scrounge together. And you come in, it's like, let's do this hard workout. Sometimes they just write a workout on the board and kind of you just go. It's just like more raw. And
Yeah.
you come in, it's not like professionalized where it's like, hey, welcome, my name's Johnny. This is what we do here. It's kind of like, hey, this is CrossFit. Just try it. And maybe not all jiu-jitsu gyms are like this, but that's how the gym I went to was. They were like, hey, how's it going? You can do a week trial. And I was like, okay. They're like, here's the gi. See you whenever you show up. Here's the
Yeah.
schedule. And they show up and it's like, it wasn't fundamentals or anything. It was, what's up, guys? Bow in, boom, run around. And you're like, all right. And then same, like the mirror, it's a mirror. You finish the warm-up, you're like, fuck, I'm tired. Like, that was the warm-up? That's it? Or not that's it, like, I'm done. This is crazy. Then they start talking. You have no idea what they're saying. You kind of just take your way through it. And then they're like, okay, sparring. And you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And then you get your butt.
Survive.
Yeah, you get your butt beat. You get beat up a lot. And you're like, wow, that's awesome. I mean, similar story that most people who start CrossFit, they go in, what is this? I have no idea. They do a hard warm-up. Wow, that was the warm-up. Holy crap. You tell them what they're doing. They're like, I have no idea what you just said. They try it. They get their butt beat. And they're like, I'm signing up. Boom. Sign me up. Membership.
Yeah.
Same experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, I started at 29.
29?
How old are you now?
I am 34.
Nice.
Old.
Old man.
And yeah, I mean, young woman, old man. Yeah, man. I mean, the main reason why I started was that, like, I was seeking something else. I was in a weird point in my life at 29. 29. And yeah, I mean, I started, in the first week, it was just like chess in my brain. It was like body chess. It was like I felt my brain like being rewired. Roderick and I think started CrossFit right around the same time, and it's that time was when CrossFit was evolving away from the garage gym and more into like the box that we know. It's still not where it is now, where it's like more
Professionalized,
official,
right?
yeah, official. It was one of those things where I get a bunch of your boys and just like go balls to the wall. And the cool thing with jiu-jitsu is there's always an aspect of fundamentals when you go to every class, because every class is 15 to 20 minutes, if not 30 minutes of going over whatever the move is. And the
45 for me.
or 45.
Crazy.
And then they give you the ability to go make the mistakes. And it's
It's so good.
You'll always make mistakes. So go make the mistakes. And then you have like that outside force pushing you. Where at CrossFit, the outside force is like a wall ball or a barbell or the pull-up bar. There, like if Rolo and I are rolling, and
Nice.
he has more experience, like he can handle me and he can put me into positions, and it's like a really cool.
This podcast.
First it was in the bathroom. Now it's here at jiu-jitsu.
You know me. I'm trying to be very PG right now. And it's one of those things that it's just like, damn, it's really cool to try something new and try something that you suck at.
It's
so
also
cool.
crazy getting handled by some 16-year-old kid. You're like, I'm way stronger than you, and you're like, how are you beating me up? Obviously, there's no hitting or anything like that, but still, it's crazy. And then even people are like, oh yeah, well it's just a girl, you could totally beat her up. Well, maybe I throw her across, but if we're doing jiu-jitsu, I'm stopped. I can't do anything. It's crazy.
My first time rolling. This is the first like session that I ever had with jiu-jitsu, probably like 10 years ago now. Actually, was I learned like the
Could be a
fundamental
black belt
stuff.
by now, dude. if you
I know I
stayed with
could
it.
have. Yeah, I just like to like kick and punch more, but yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we did that thing where you go through the fundamentals or whatever. I think they were teaching us the omoplata on that class, and then they stuck me with a girl to roll with her, and I was like,
Easy.
what? Yeah, I'm like 200 pounds. I was powerlifting at the time, And so I'm like up against her, and she toppled me right away,
Yeah.
put me in a choke. I was like, no way, this is really stupid. I hate this. I'm like, but she was like probably 125 pounds soaking wet. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
wild.
weird when you're trying to do something and you just can't.
Right.
Why can't I get my leg out of here? Or why can't I move this way? Or
Yep.
it's crazy.
And then they had me the next session go against like a state champ wrestler.
Nice.
And again, I was like 50 pounds heavier than this guy. And I still had too much confidence. And I was like, there's no way he's even going to get me down. I'm just way heavier than him. It took 30 seconds. Yeah. I remember like we had a clock set for a minute 30, like that we'd go like two people, then the next people or whatever. Right. And it was a minute 30. He got me down in like 30 seconds and then made me tap out by like a minute. It was
Crazy.
freaking wild. But you guys mentioned twice now, like professionalization of or whatever, making it more professional with CrossFit, and you feel like jiu-jitsu is like not there right now. With CrossFit, how do you feel about like it becoming more professional? Because one thing that I had a problem with in the beginning was the chalk thing specifically. You guys both said the thing about chalk, where there was chalk on the ground and stuff. And I remember hearing this thing or seeing memes about it on Instagram when I was first starting CrossFit, where like gym owners would have a problem with people, like they would make memes about like when new members use the chalk bucket and they're like slapping chalk around, there's chalk all over the ground. I'm like, that's like a normal gym, that's how things should be. I bet, is that like I don't know, is that because it's becoming more professional that gym owners don't want that? Or like, take me through the professionalism of CrossFit and what you
Maybe
think about it.
professional isn't the right word. Maybe it's like some gyms are trying to be more, like cater more towards the person rather than just focusing on the methodology.
Okay.
So you walk in, right, and you don't get handed a towel at CrossFit. You don't get
Right.
like treated that way. It's like it used to be like, what's up, bro? This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then you just crush it together and you're toast. And it's like, all right, see you tomorrow for another pain session.
Very little warm up, no cool down, and you're just going. I wrote that experience I had yesterday with that gym. I dropped in at a box yesterday, the one that I was at when you called me,
Yeah.
and it was a barbell workout. It was 21 power cleans at 155, a 400-meter run, and then a plank for a 2-minute plank.
Jesus.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like,
2-minute plank.
yeah.
That's hard.
I'm like, all right, cool. Like, fine. Got this. And I'm like, where's the chalk? So I'm like, all right, well, everyone's like pulling out their own chalk. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I go up to the owner and I go, hey, man, where's the chalk? Or like, can I have some chalk? I forgot to bring mine. And he's like, we normally sell bags of chalk. And I was like,
What?
Like a climbing gym type of chalk? Like in a bag?
in a bag. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we only sell the chalk. We don't give out chalk.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I didn't bring any. He's like, I think there's some over there. And I was like,
He's like, sucks to suck.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, but I mean, I don't understand what he was trying to do. So, right. So when you own a business,
He's trying to keep it clean.
there's the price of doing business.
Yeah.
Right? So the price
Yeah.
of doing business is your cleaning supplies. The price
Yeah.
of doing business is like, oh, you want to keep this place looking pristine, but I look at some of your bars and they're all dusty, right? And I look on top of some of your picture frames and there's dust for decades of dust. So what are you really trying to do? Oh, what you're trying to do is squeeze every dollar that you can. All right, cool. Now I know who you are. And then after that, it trickles down. Methodology wise, warm up wise, there was all those things that as a previous gym owner and someone that has gone to other boxes that I know are run very well, that little interaction that I had with the chalk made me realize a whole bunch of things. And it's just one of those things. It's like, hey, are you going to cater to your customers? Or are you going to cater to yourself? Or are you going to cater to other people? And I think when your goal is to like, hey, let's be the best, let's give someone the best experience possible, your mindset changes. If your goal is like, hey, let's make the most money we can, that's a complete different thing. And that's what I felt yesterday. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to pay my drop-in fee and probably never come back to this gym.
Right.
And I won't talk bad about it, but I'm talking bad about it here, but no one knows where it is. And if you listen to this, you know who you are. But like, yeah, man, like it's those things. It's like, hey, if you walk into a CrossFit gym and they're like, hey, here's a $30 drop-in fee, and then on top of that, you got to pay $10 for chalk, and then there's a pull-up bar fee, you know, and there's
What are you, Frontier Airlines?
exactly like
Every
dude,
deep breath, 10 cents. Oh, you want the clock on for this workout? $5.
exactly.
That'd be crazy.
I mean, the workout wasn't even over. The time cap wasn't even over, and the guy already started like, all right, everyone, put your bars away. I'm like,
Seriously?
dude, there's like 3 minutes left. I mean, I was done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was done, but there was other people working out, and like me, I won't start cleaning my bar until someone finishes or until I'm told to, right?
Right.
Because I'm
Right.
like, no, like I'm gonna sit.
Well, that's
down
like the
there.
old CrossFit way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
you wait
done,
till
and what do
everybody's
you
done.
do? I turn around, and I'm like, all right, let's go, Heather. Like, all right, let's go, Roderick.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and then okay, everyone's finished. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Put my stuff away. If
Pound
this guy's
it.
still dying.
Pound me, brother.
Yeah, boy. Help him with his bar, but that's not what it was. And there was another interaction with an athlete that was there, and I'm like, oh, this is how this gym is run.
Yeah.
And it sucks because like if I'm a new person coming to CrossFit, I'm automatically like my walls are up. I'm like, what
Yeah.
just happened? Like, am I supposed to not use chalk? Are my hands supposed to rip all the time? Like, what's going on? And that's when you say, hey, professionalizing. Like, dude, we're nowhere near there. Like, there's still a bunch of things to do. But I mean, worry about coffee.
Charging for chalk is crazy. That's interesting. That's really, I don't know about that. What?
Not my business model.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
there might be some people who like that. They prefer that in the gym. Just like there's some gyms that are like, as many dogs as possible can be here. And then some gyms are like, no dogs at all. And it's, some people love having the dogs, and then half the people complain about the dogs. And there's always something, right? There's always something about the gyms that people appreciate and some people that don't appreciate it. And yeah, can't win them all. But I feel like the gym that you would run would be the gym that you'd want. Maybe that's the type of gym that guy runs.
Yeah.
Which is, again, not one that we'd want to go to. We want the old school CrossFit type vibes. At least I would. I
Yeah.
love it.
I do
I
too,
miss
and
it.
I feel like maybe the point isn't necessarily the chalk, but just
Well, yeah.
the feeling that you get. I feel like also I have been to a lot of CrossFit gyms too, and like dropped into them, and we had an experience once where we were declined to come during the open.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Like, we're only going to be judging our members, not
Yeah.
you guys?
We're only having the.
This is a
open to our
community
members.
thing for
Oh,
us, is what they
interesting.
said. My
was
question
very
was like,
interesting.
what if we want to be part of your community?
Right, yeah.
And you just denied us from coming.
That's-
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never in the CrossFit community, in every gym I've ever been to, everyone has always been like super welcoming.
For sure.
Like, if you need anything or if you're like asking for something, people are always like super helpful. And that was the first time I ever had like a chalk experience where I was like, what's
I remember
happening?
this one time, obviously this may be a little bit different, but I finished the workout and I told the person, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot my protein, and I was visiting a different state. I was like, do you happen to have like any protein? And he's like, oh, yeah, I have a bag of protein. He gave me a scoop and he's like, all right, that'll be $5.
No.
No,
Yeah. No, he charged me $5 for one scoop of protein from his
What?
bag of protein.
That's wild, dude.
I was dumbfounded.
I'm dumbfounded listening.
I was
to
like,
it.
but like part of me thinks, okay, sometimes they sell like the little individual pouches. But I was just like, my mind was blown because I would never do that.
Right.
If somebody
Yeah.
was like, hey, do you have any protein? I'd be like, oh yeah, here, have some of my protein. I don't care. It's
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe
It
it's like
blew my mind.
we would never charge for chalk, or we would
Yeah.
never decline somebody to come to our gym for the
Yeah.
open. But it's like when it happens and you're like, what?
yeah.
I actually, for the open especially, I posted on our social media when I owned a gym that people could come for free for the entire week or whatever it was. Remember?
I mean, you had
Yeah.
you had people coming.
That might be
work
hard
out
to
your gym
manage
all the
though
time.
if you don't have
Yeah.
enough people though.
Yeah.
Huh?
You know? I said that would be really hard to manage if you don't have enough people. I
Yeah.
feel like the open's a pretty stressful time to be a gym owner,
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
to judge everybody and
Yeah, I mean, since it wasn't wasn't
affiliate.
an affiliate, it
Yeah.
didn't turn out to be that way. But
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't super stressful. So,
Did you guys do all the open workouts this year?
I didn't do
I
any.
did.
I didn't do one. I was injured.
You
She
didn't do
did.
any of them?
I just did that quarterfinals workout. That was it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you do any of the quarterfinal workouts?
The quarterfinal workers? Nah, I just
Yeah.
follow my regular programming. Taylor Self Sentinel training program. But I did the open workout.
Yeah, we saw you do the number 3
Yeah.
at Proven. It was awesome.
Zero.
Next to a bunch of games athletes.
Yeah, 0 warm up. Just like, okay, I'll go on the bar. What's the worst that can happen?
You know, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure CrossFit was invented for like first responders, law enforcement, special forces, etc. And a lot of those people don't have the opportunity to just like stretch, like law
Fire
enforcement.
alarm. Hold on.
What?
Fire alarm. Hold on. I gotta stretch.
Yeah, exactly. Firefighters aren't like. Yeah, so it's, I've seen some programs. My coach actually has talked about this a lot. It's like being durable enough to sometimes handle a workout at high intensity without doing any warm up, because sometimes you don't have the opportunity to. Just interesting random.
Was CrossFit though back then? Was it like the same as it is now, where people were handling such heavy loads and doing all the crazy stuff? Yeah, I don't know what, dude. There's so much of this podcast.
I'm just a child, sorry.
And like, what do you mean handling heavy loads?
Well, I think the
You
volume,
know what I mean.
volume was different, right? You look at
Yeah.
like Dave
Yeah.
Castro, how he trains. It's one workout in the day, and it's not a strength, a workout, gymnastics, blah blah blah. It's if it's 5 back squats, that's all he's focusing on for the entire day. If it's Karen, that's what he's focusing on for the day. Eva, like that's all that you're doing for the day, and you're focusing on the intensity, which I feel like so many people miss. They miss the intensity portion, and they do so much volume.
Volume. Yep.
Volume's important if you're competing, but intensity is more important, like
Life.
to be a normal person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely digging. I mean, I am doing a little more warm up these days, but which I get your point about the other thing. But I feel like a lot of my training is warm up and then intensity.
Yeah.
And I would prefer that than volume, because I don't have time to train for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I don't know. Does anybody know how much Taylor Self works out?
It's 3 hours.
He does it, but he like caps it at 3 hours.
I mean, from what I know, and
From
stuff
what he
like that,
says,
yeah,
he
from
works
his-
out less than a games athlete.
Yes, he works out less than the games athlete. He values intensity. So one of the things, I had a conversation with him the day after I found out that I was having a kid. I woke up and I was like 256, and I was like, that has to change.
You weighed 256?
Yeah, I was like,
It's a lot of man.
Yeah, it's a lot of man.
a lot
I'm
of
like,
man.
that has to change. And so now we're like 230, and I still need a lot, like 30 more pounds to even feel comfortable. And I reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, I just the 60-minute thing, and he's like, hey, it's not even 60 minutes. He's like, just simple, right? It's simple but not easy, right? It's pick out the WOD, the workout component, and just make sure that you give yourself realistic times and you push yourself. Value intensity over the volume.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like, there's a difference, right? Like I can, Roderick and I can be doing Fran. He finishes in 2:30. I finish in like
216, dude.
2:16.
Probably.
Yeah, no problem. I finish in 3 or close to 4 minutes.
217.
2:07. No. I'll be realistic. Last time was like 3 something. And even though he might have finished a minute before me, like we reached that intensity, and that's what we want. Where maybe he's
That
able
red
to
line.
recover and hit another workout in 20, 30, 40, an hour, 2 hours later, and I'm wrecked for the rest of the day. But our goal is to
You
hit
vomit
that
into the
intensity.
garbage bin.
And that's how it used to be back in the day, right? Like
Yeah.
you and your boys would just like go, and like sometimes, and that was at the point where people were going from one really tough workout to like maybe 2 really tough, intense workouts to like now starting to add more volume, and like it's really cool, and like we get to see it because like you said, it's
Yeah.
like CrossFit back in 2012, and Justin's over
yeah.
here like,
What is that?
What is that?
Well, it's
does that mean?
That guy,
Yeah.
what's his name? Richard Froning.
oh,
Who's that?
Have you ever
Froning,
heard of
yeah.
Rich Froning? No, Rich
the
Froning.
team athlete.
Rich Froning, when
Team
Savon
athlete.
like showed up in his garage and he's like doing 6 workouts a day, nobody in the CrossFit community that was competing really at a high level was doing that, or it wasn't. No one was talking about it. And they're like, "Hey, why do you work out so much?" And Rich was like, I have like a master's degree in kinesiology. I know what I'm doing. Relax. And he was doing way more workouts a day, whereas a lot of the other people who are making it to the games, they were just doing their box programming. And so he really changed the game on. I don't know why I started this conversation. I just want to talk about Rich Froning, probably.
We were talking about the professionalism of CrossFit and
And
we've gone
intensity.
down. we've gone down all the tangents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And intensity, yeah. Like I think that's super important. Like being able to focus your efforts on something that it doesn't have to be like this long chipper. It could be as simple as air squat, like Cindy, right? It could be super simple. It could be as simple as 10 miles and 100 burpees.
Clovis, that's a hero
Yeah.
workout.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as running in pull-ups. It could be as simple as running in air squats, right? It's super simple. You just got to keep that intensity up. And dude, like we talked about last time, like without that like discipline, it'd be really tough to imagine where Paper Street would be, where Meme for Time would be. And without the professionalism, you won't get those awesome memes like you had this week with the whole quarterfinal fiasco
Oh my goodness.
that we had.
Crazy.
Dude, laughed out loud.
All.
Dude, I laughed. Like it's hilarious.
Thank you.
On the because you're the social media guru here, right? On the side of Paper Street Coffee, when you're trying to like market for online and the shop,
Yeah.
how are you taking what you do with memes and kind of translating it into the marketing for coffee?
Oh yeah, I don't actually try to make memes for Paper Street. I try to focus on how can we generate more sales online. So my number one goal for Paper, obviously like reach and engagement is important, but for us that isn't the most important for Paper Street. We don't need, again, there's like nuances here. If Paper Street's every single one of their memes got 1 million views, it doesn't immediately mean that we're getting that like more online sales. It has to be targeted towards the audience that we want, and it has to speak to them for them to then go on our website and buy stuff. Perfect example is Meme for Time. I post a shirt, it does okay, because people aren't really there to purchase things. Like their number one goal when they come to my page isn't to spend money. Whereas Paper Street Coffee, our number one goal is to get people to go to the website, learn about who we are, vibe with us, and really be a part of it. So, what was the original question? I haven't slept for 24 hours. Sorry, my brain.
Oh, you're good.
No, I got this.
You're good. You do.
Oh,
you do.
memes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
do memes intentionally for Paper Street. What I do is I go, who is our audience? Who are we trying to speak to? And then what stories are we trying to tell? And I think the coolest part recently is we're telling stories of the athletes that we work with and how they align with our mission, what we live by, our values at Paper Street Coffee. And you can really see I don't think a lot of people understand this yet, even though the head of Instagram keeps talking about it. Your views, your shares, your likes are a much better, not predictor is not the right word, a better measure of like how your account's going than your follower count. So you can have 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, and your videos could be viewed 1,000 or like 10,000 times. Doesn't matter. Our videos are being seen by the people that we want them to be seen. We're telling the stories that we want to tell, and they're doing well within our community. And the people that are seeing it are feeling the vibe, and they're going to the website and buying coffee because they want to be a part of the vibe that we're doing. I don't know if I answered all of the questions. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you did. I guess how are you guys targeting who you want to buy the coffee?
We target everything based off of our mission statement, our values.
Which is?
I'll read it. I don't have it memorized.
Well, it's just like people that value, people that
All right, I got it. I'm going to say it straight up. All right. Paper Street Coffee guiding principles. At Paper Street Coffee, we value the relentless pursuit of excellence through hard work and dedication. We work to foster a culture that believes in reaching your full potential. We channel raw, unapologetic energy that serves up quality with no fluff. We like to push the boundaries, grit and authenticity, bold and uncompromising, willing to shake things up. We get straight to the point and like to challenge the norm. Every piece of content we put out, we think of how it relates to that.
Yeah.
Every athlete we work with, every relationship that we make, does that person follow those principles? If the answer is no, they probably don't want to buy our coffee. They probably don't want to hang out with us. They probably don't want to listen to our podcast, whatever. And the people that do align with that, they really align with it and they really appreciate it. And what I've been trying to do with social, and I'm telling these guys, it's like, look, all of our athletes and all the people that we surround ourselves with, we haven't looked at our guiding principles and been like, oh, that person follows this. We've kind of just have this group, and then we realized, look at what everybody's doing. They have such a different path than the normal path, right? Like you or gym owner, you quit. I'm going to do podcasting and do social media. Colton Mearns is like, okay, I'm going to just be really short and make it to the CrossFit Games anyway. You know, like, no, it's a thing, right? Because a lot of people who were shorter athletes were like, oh yeah, I can't do it. And he's like, I don't care, I'm going to do it. You know, and before him, like Chris Spieler, you know, Cody Anderson, these are other short people that, Josh Bridges, like they're people that did it. And then there's the other spectrum of people who are tall. Anyway, we're talking about Colton Mearns because he's a full-time farmer. And again, he's not the typical size for being a CrossFit Games athlete, whatever that means, right? He's like, I'm going to do it anyway. Ariel Lowen, that she went to 4 or 5 regionals and was like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not going to do it. Decided to take a slightly different route and then comes back and is like, oh no, I really like this. I love this. I'm going to do this full time. It's not a normal path that people have taken. Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking the normal path. Like my mom was like, maybe you should work at a bank. And I'm like, I don't want to work at the bank. I want to be a coach full time. And I coached full time and then I sold that to do this. Like I just flew from San Diego to come make content in a coffee shop in New Jersey and film a podcast. Like so random.
Yeah.
Dominic and everybody part of the group.
It's almost like your kind of counterculture.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, well, I guess you kind of answered the next question. I was going to ask you and Gabe, how do you guys, so I guess for the people that you work with Paper Street Coffee, because you kind of, I know you said before that you want to do stuff for people, but it also has to be kind of mutual, right? The exchange. So how do you go about like vetting people first off to figure out that they have the same values and stuff, but then second that it's going to be even value exchange? Or do you not really even focus so much on the value exchange? It's just, do these people align? Like, would you take somebody, you probably would, but would you take somebody that had 2,000 followers instead of somebody with like 50K, depending on where their values were at?
I mean, it's apparent. Like we have some athletes that we definitely resonated with, like Ava George, right? Like really awesome. Roderick and I spent.
She loves Paper Street.
Yeah.
She loves coffee.
Yeah.
So much.
Spent time with her in Vegas one weekend, and we're like, hey, she should
sick.
be like, she's a clear person who represents all those values. Before we even had that, we're like
guiding principles.
Yeah, we want her to be on the team, and you know, she's infantry in the army. She's
one of the few female to
Exactly.
get through infantry school. What a
That's
savage.
sweet.
just a dope individual, and to me it's like, hey, I'd rather have that person on the team than an individual who has a bunch of followers and then has a conversation with me and then like just
Doesn't vibe.
doesn't even care about the conversation that we had in Miami.
Stop.
Okay. I was going to say, has this happened?
Oh my goodness.
Clearly.
And we didn't name like all the athletes we have, but the athletes that we have are incredible.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like we can go down the list of every single person, but like we do have those interactions. Like I have those texts where I'll reach out to them, hey, how you doing today? Or they reach out to me like, hey, I'm just reaching out to say how are you doing? Or like, oh Gabe, I really like that Oreo latte. Or oh Gabe, you know, really like what you did here. Or, things like that. So those athletes that we have that cool interaction and relationship with, like that goes a really, really long way because it shows that they are
Shows that they care.
that they I thought you said cute. No, it shows that they care. Like look at Colton. Like how cool is it that we were able to be with him through Wadapalooza and learn so much about him.
Or my sister helps with Paper Street Coffee too, and she's like, hey, I have a really cute idea for a Kyra. I'm like, just DM her. She'll probably send you a video. And she's like, hey, I need you to be disappointed after you eat an Oreo cookie. And she just like immediately next day sends it over.
That's awesome.
Like,
That's
oh,
cool.
I have this idea. Can you help me generate it? And it's like, yeah.
And not
Everybody's
everyone
so
wants to
always
do that.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone wants to do that. Like, look, it's hard. It's hard to be that vulnerable to like people have, you know, make fun of you, and not just make fun of like if you want to keep this in or not. Like, look, like Sid was down to do it. She was a little apprehensive,
Oh, to be silly with eating
Yeah.
coffee beans.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sydney Wells
Yeah.
for eating coffee beans.
and she did it, and like, dude, like that's awesome. That,
Yeah, it was
that
super
she
cool.
did that.
It
Like,
was hilarious.
I respected it. You respected it. A bunch of people liked it, and like maybe it brings them out of their shell a little bit. And that's
Yeah.
dope in my eyes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That was cool. And it was hilarious. I was so tempted to just pretend like the clip was bad so she had to keep eating coffee beans, but I didn't.
Yeah, I feel like it's like kind of an interesting conversation of I don't know, like sometimes I think people take it wrong when you're talking about, you know, vetting people or like finding value in people that you surround yourself around instead of just like being friends with people just for the sake of like you get along. You get what I'm saying? Where it's
Yeah.
like you need to have people
Life's
around
short,
you
man.
too.
I want good people around.
That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm old, bro.
Yeah, where it's, I don't know, sometimes you can like fall out with people or whatever because you're like, well, we don't necessarily like hold the same value system as, you know, maybe we used to because you've changed or I've changed a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Have you gone through that?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's okay. It's not. Oh, we're checking the cameras.
One more.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I mean, like grow, change, life changes. There's so many seasons in life. You're not gonna be with everybody forever. And there's some people, right? There's far and few between that you stay with forever, but some of them it's okay. Like, I don't know. I'm learning to accept it more as I get older, and some friends are just kind of, hey, we don't align anymore, regardless of values or anything. But it might just be like we don't really want the same things, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Period. It's okay. It's not, no harm, no foul. We just don't have to be in the same circle forever. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, I think you're like spot on, and not that many people share the same sentiment you do. Some people might get hurt,
For sure.
And those are the type of people that like, hey, maybe you have to rethink your relationship with. What do they call it? Like a friend that there's no baggage. There's no baggage that comes with having to be my friend. I don't want it to. If you're my friend, I don't want it to feel like it's pulling teeth every time.
It should be easy.
Yeah, it's easy. It's just like, hey, are you available here? No, okay, cool. Like
I got
we're-
enough problems in my life.
Yeah.
I don't need another one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you want to hang out? Nah, I really can't. All right, cool. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, and not like, why doesn't he want to hang out?
Right.
Okay, he said no. Maybe he's busy.
Yeah, I don't
All
want.
right, cool.
Oh man, yeah. I want people that can come over and sit on the couch and hang out with me and my dog and watch TV. Like that's the vibes I want. I don't want somebody where I have like they've got to come over and it's work.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Make
need-
a charcuterie board.
Yeah. I need someone
Yeah.
who's going to be honest, who's going to call me on my shit, and allows me to call them on their shit. And if they don't think that what I'm saying is true, we can have a conversation and it's cool. Like I'm like, hey, dude, you're not posting enough on social, and you kind of were a dick today or something.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be like, well, fuck you, and then talk to Gabe, and you're like, dude, I can't believe Roderick said this. It was you would literally go like, huh. And same goes for me. I definitely have friends who, I mean, Gabe the other day, he's like, hey, we need to be focusing on this more. I'm like, oh, you're right. Oh man, like that's true. I won't go into, like to details, but like I have friends that do that for me, right? They're like, you're not even working that hard, bro, or you're not doing this enough, or you need to focus on this, and it's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, why do you guys think that people do get butthurt or weird about stuff like that? Because I definitely have felt that, and I've like distanced myself recently, especially from people who I feel like I can't be honest with.
They don't have life experience.
You think that's what it is?
100%. Like
I think sorry.
yeah, like for instance, like insecurity, right? Like if I don't have the life experience, then I will have fear. That fear will then lead to like that insecurity. Like we had that awesome weekend that we had, and it exposed a lot. And it's like when the universe or God or whatever decides to throw something at you, it's like, how do you react? If your reaction is like, hold on, like life is gonna pass you by. That's ultimately how I feel. It might not be the right thing, but to me, it's like, I've been put in that position. I've been pushed to redline. I've been submitted the same exact way that when life throws something unexpected at you, I'm not like, I've never been put in this position before. My heart rate's never been like at like 180, and I think I'm gonna like, no, it's been there. So I think the experience kind of leads to the confidence. The confidence then leads to not having fear of something, and we all know fear is a path to the dark side of the force.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been listening to a book called The Courage to Be Disliked.
I've never heard of it.
It's really interesting, and one part that has really changed my mindset along things. So, like everybody has their own issues, and a lot of times we take on other people's issues. I had never thought about it this way or anything. So like, let's just say me and Gabe have some sort of tiff, right? But I knew it was just I was setting a boundary for something, like, hey, dude, don't talk to me that way or something, right? like at first what I would typically do is like, oh, I feel bad like setting a boundary and like making Gabe feel some type of way. And the book really talks about, it's like, that's not your problem. That's something that he needs to work through. You're setting a boundary for yourself. And there's times in my life where I haven't set enough boundaries for people. And I was like, I don't want to text them. I'll make them feel embarrassed or whatever. And now it's not my issue. That's their issue that they need to work through. And it's interesting. The book is like a conversation, somebody learning from somebody else. And it's, I don't know. I won't go listen to it. It's really awesome. I'm not going to do it justice explaining it here, but I definitely have let go a ton of anxiety on like, I don't care how the other person feels if I'm setting boundaries for myself that I believe.
Yeah.
Which is, wow, being 30 is cool. A lot of
Being 30 is cool,
A lot
yeah.
of things have changed and has made life a lot better in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
I think a lot of times, like, especially as you're growing up, like, you're afraid to say no for the sake of, like, hurting people's feelings. Or
Yeah.
you're afraid of, like, telling your friends the truth that maybe they need to hear because, again, you're afraid of hurting people's feelings, although it might be, like, the best thing for that person at that time, right? Like, I've had really hard conversations with friends before, like, about, like, them drinking too much and, like, this is the type of person that you are when you, like, are too drunk or whatever. But I remember each time it being, like, super nerve-wracking to do it. I'm like, oh, like you said, I'm going to make this person embarrassed or they're going to hate me or whatever. But it's like, yeah, you're right. It's a them problem, especially if it is actually a detriment to their life and their lifestyle.
They talk exactly with this is you can't, like, it's the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So often we push things on other people too. Mm-hmm. This will be, I don't have kids, so I don't really know how this feels, but he was talking about, he's like, well, what if I'm not studying and I should be doing my homework? Isn't it the parent's responsibility to force the kid to do their homework? And they say, it's like, no, that kid needs to realize what the consequences are for not doing the homework. And you just have to make it apparent to the kid, I'm here for you when you're ready to study or when you're ready to do this, and I'm here to help you through it. Mm-hmm. But not being the person's like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, because you make that person not want to do it. Again, just one of the examples. So I've kind of taken that in all areas of my life. I'm trying not to push what I believe somebody should do. They tell me one of their issues that they're having, and it's like, hey, I'm here for you with whatever you need, but I'm not going to try to fix their problems.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that.
So I need you to make 2 posts, and then this is just a social media, but like 2 posts, you need to be posting on YouTube. I'm not going to hound you on that every day, every week. Like, hey, why didn't you post? Hey, why didn't you post? I know that's what would make you successful, but it's not my problem. So I tell you, hey, Justin, I'm here for you regardless of what you need. When you're ready, I'll give you everything you want, but I'm not going to force you to do it. But in not just social media terms, like in life terms, you come to me and you're like, hey, I'm having struggling in my relationship and this is hard and that's hard. It's like, yeah, you got some stuff that you need to work on. Like, I'm here for you how I can be in wherever you need.
Let them let them navigate their emotions.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to force you to do shit.
Yeah. That's important. I think in every relationship, do
1,000,000%.
like wife, fiance, whatever you guys are.
Roommates with benefits.
Like, I think that's super important.
Just kidding.
Like, giving people the space so they can ruminate on their own emotions is like, it's such a superpower for someone to have. Like, just like, hey, how about you just deal with it? Like, not to be like, that could be like sounding like a dickhead. It's like, hey man, just deal with it for a second. Let's how does that make you feel? Like, what's going on? Like, why is that happening? And not that many people give people that space. Like, I when I was younger, I never used to give people a space. I wanted an answer. I'm like, why don't you just do this? And then now it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Here
even
for you.
yeah, even cool to give yourself some space. You're like, you know, like what we talked about in the back, right? Where it was just like, man, I needed to get this out because I needed the space before I send someone's head across the country.
A good example of something that I've worked on quite a bit is like having unconditional love with my wife. It'll tie in, I promise. Not so like doing the dishes, cleaning up, vacuuming, doing all of these things, and then when, like, you shouldn't expect anything back, right?
No expectations.
No expectations at all.
Yeah.
Because me getting upset at that, it's my problem. Why am I expecting these things I should just be doing these things because I'm supposed to be doing these things, not with an expectation of anything happening back. So it's like, if I'm going to choose to do those things, then I do those things for me.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's funny that you use that example because I actually thought about that this week.
Really?
Yeah, about that yeah, if I'm gonna do this stuff, I shouldn't do it with the expectation like she's gonna notice or like anything like that, because we do that. I mean, we're humans, right? Like everyone does stuff like that with some expectation sometimes. Dude, I was gonna ask you a question. Oh, but I feel like there's like kind of like a line that you toe, right? Because like especially being a leader, an employer, stuff like that, there is a level of you do have to kind of, like you were saying, you're not going to like breathe down somebody's neck to like get something done, but you kind of do have to do that, right? So is there a line that you draw?
Why do you have to do that?
Well, otherwise you just fire the person, right?
Exactly.
Or get rid of their
That's
athlete.
the consequence. Why are you going to force and push it on them to, hey, I need you to do this, I need you to do this, I need you to do this. It's not their problem. Hey, when you're ready to do these things, you can work for me. If you're not going to do those things, then you're let go. That's how you would apply it, right?
I agree, but don't you think sometimes, like just human nature, there's some people that you like see the potential in, and maybe you are the one thing that they need, and it like happens over the course of a month.
They have to come to you and be ready, right?
I've
That's the
made that
same-
mistake.
it's the
You
same
made that
thing.
mistake?
So your example, I've made that mistake.
Okay.
More than once, and he's right. So
Okay.
I've done it I've done it a handful of times where I've hired someone, and I'm like, I can change them,
Oh, no.
and guess what?
You didn't change.
100% out of 100, they were the person that they were.
Yeah.
And it's like you have an interview with someone, and one of their first questions is like, so how many vacation days do I have? I'm like, well, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, like, pay attention to this. Like, don't be asking these things, or PTO, or a bunch of all these like other questions. I'm like, dude, I haven't even seen how you work for me to even give you that.
Sure.
And yeah, I've done that many times, and I've invested training hours, which are actual dollars for
Yeah.
a business, and they've stressed me out. They've missed shifts. They've forgotten to ship something out. I have to deal with other customers, and I take extreme ownership. So when someone says, hey, this is going on, I'm like, shit, I messed up. But then I have to trickle it down to the rest of the team to make sure that it gets done properly. Yeah, man, don't do that. Don't be like, I can change them. No, you can't.
No. I mean, I guess I understand fully what you guys are saying. I totally agree with that. But it's not a but. Is there a circumstance where you do see potential in somebody that maybe they don't see, and you're not changing any like habits that they have? It may be that you have to be the person that's like in their corner, telling them everything that they need to do, and you are kind of on them for a little bit. Instead of them having bad habits already, they have none, and you're just like, hey, these are the things that I want you to do for the next like week, and then you can decide later on, like, okay.
I had 2 people helping me out with social media prior to Roderick, and I approached them that way.
Like you saw potential in them,
I'm
and
like, I see the potential.
okay,
I see the potential.
and it still didn't work out.
And I'm like, all right, we can get through this. And then with Roderick, it's like, I didn't see the potential. I'm like,
He had proof of
there
concept.
he is.
Yeah.
This person is me, just with social media.
Mm.
And boom, we're good to go. Same thing with Paulina. I had another person that was working with us, and I'm like, I see the potential in her.
Mm.
And then Paulina came along, and I'm like, oh,
dang.
that's her. That's
Yeah.
the person I
Yeah.
need. Same thing with that guy, Jean-Philippe. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
He had a nice haircut.
he had a really nice haircut. He came out to Nashville, a kid, 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid. I'm like, hey, man, like, you've already worked your ass off in a month of working for us. Like, come out to Nashville. I need your help.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we flew out first class, 17-year-old kid, to Nashville, helped me set up the coffee shop over there for a pop-up, and we came back because I don't need to give them the time. Like, he showed me. He was like, hey, man, I'm ready. I'm dedicated. Like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a business owner and as a person who relies so much on other people, because I do rely so much on other people.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't really see anyone as like an employee. I see them as partners.
Mm.
They're my partner to help Paper Street get to wherever it needs to be. Dude, it's such a hard thing of, I've learned so much to not be like, I see that you could be the best person. All I got to do is give you a little bit of this, a little bit of this. And it's like, you've always let me down. I'd rather give that opportunity to someone that I already know. I'm like, oh man, this is
Yeah.
gonna work out. Because now the effort and the time that I'm putting into Roderick, it's gonna be reciprocated. We circle this back all the way to our first conversation, man. It's good to be around people that are just pushing each other,
Yeah.
pushing each other, nudging each other. It's not like we're taking 2 steps back and then 1 step forward. It's like, wait, did Roderick just leapfrog us 100 steps and now like 30 people are like chasing him? They're not waiting
Right.
to like, Roderick isn't like, "All right, let me pull these people back to where we are." No, he's like, all right, cool, I'm looking forward. And then maybe he like looks back, turns around like, oh shit, Gabe's already over there. All right, cool, we have to do the same thing. Nah, I mean, fuck wasting your time with
Yeah.
people at this point, man.
That makes
I have a
sense.
question.
Okay.
Specifically.
For me?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I'm the interviewer here. Okay. There will be
this
no
is
questions.
my podcast too.
I'm
You're
just
now
kidding.
in the hot seat.
Yeah, geez, okay.
No, and
Feels
just
warm over here.
listening to this perspective from from this book, and then like Gabe's perspective, obviously of owning a business and having like these issues come up and stuff. Like, I've seen this happen to you with your friends. I won't name names, but I can think of 2 specific people
It was Jacob. I'm just kidding.
who you
Jacob.
see potential in and have just let you down continuously, like after saying do this, or come do this, or you should do this, and it just it goes back to Roderick's point of you have to wait until you can't
No,
push
yeah, you guys are right. You guys are right, because even as I'm thinking about it in my head, because I was thinking of this like
Can I pause you just
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got to pee too.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't.
I guess this podcast is over.
No, go ahead.
I don't really think it's you go bye, see ya, I hate you forever. It feels to me more like, hey, I'm here for you if you're ever ready.
Yeah,
So
totally.
you're
Yeah,
not telling
yeah.
them to like, hey, fuck off.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're still friends, but I'm not gonna just pour all of my energy into you anymore. But I'm here for you always and forever with whatever you might need.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're not ready, and I'll check in sometimes because I definitely have friends who it's like, I made the mistake of putting a lot of effort into everything and always forcing everything and telling them like, this is what you should be doing, and now realizing that it's like, oh, that's not what they probably needed.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned, hey, I'm here for you with whatever you need, and I've tried to change my tune. I try not to be that. Obviously, I'm still working on it, right? I still have those days where I'm like, oh, you should be doing.
Yeah.
I'm here for you
Mm-hmm.
whenever you need help and if you have questions. That's it. And I'll remind them every now and again, hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope all is well. I'm here for you if you ever, need anything. And so it just kind of changes it. So I'm not like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
No, you guys are right, because even the example that I'm thinking of was like an athlete that I had, and I took them on for free, like after, but there was already proof of concept. Like they have already shown me that they were willing to work hard and whatever, and so then I sponsored them for like a whole year because they paid before and they just couldn't afford it anymore. So I sponsored them for a year, but I guess I already had the proof that they were willing to do what I needed them to do to be able to get a scholarship or whatever. So, wow, Justin's wrong for the first time in his life.
I don't think you're wrong. I think that you
I
just
know, I was kidding.
you
Yeah.
hold people to your standard, and not everybody has those standards. Like, I feel like you expect a lot out of people, and unfortunately, I think you have to lower your expectations sometimes, or allow the space
Yeah.
allow the space for them to get to your level. I don't know.
Because I don't think that you should lower your standards of
Not standards, lower your expectation. Like, you
Yeah,
don't
but-
expect people to operate at your level.
or just be mindful and watch, and people who do live up to those standards,
Right.
you let them in your life and let the other people just kind of
Yes.
I get it though. It's hard because you're like, man, these people are cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want you to come with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I've seen that. So I
think that's what the
I can
biggest
name
issue is.
So many people in your life right now that you have had this issue with.
it's at least one.
it's at least one. I only have 3 friends. So no, but you guys are right.
And that's
You're right
actually
here.
something we talked about in our last internal podcast, was like, we kind of touched on it, like, hey, you're in this transition zone of like some people in your life that aren't
Mm-hmm.
living to that standard. Yeah, exactly. No, living to that standard. But now we have met new people only allowing that type of standard in our life, hence like meeting you guys and like meeting people who want to operate like the way we do. So
Yeah. Cool. I think this was a productive therapy session.
for you,
Yeah, for
I
me.
don't even remember what happened.
I'm not surprised.
Oh man, cool. Well, thanks guys for doing this pod. That was dope. Flew all the way to the other side of the country to hang out.
Thank you for coming. It was awesome.
Yeah,
was
thanks for
what she
having
said.
us.
Drink Paper Street Coffee. No promo code. Just spend all your money.
Spend all the money. All right, sweet. Well, like, subscribe, do all that. Follow
check out
Meme
that
for
book.
Time.
Yeah.
No, don't follow me. Go download Audible. Go listen to that book.
Say it again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it.
Urge to be disliked.
Courage to be disliked.
I'm still working on it. I have a lot of work to do.
Well, I have to start reading the book.
I still like you, so got a lot of work to do.
All right, we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.